Hello. Thank you for listening. This is the near death experience of Ginette. And this experience occurred in 1938. 1938. And it was documented on January 31st, 2017. Open quote. Born to an unmarried mother, she left me in the care of my grandparents. They loved me, but she didn't. Grandfather had died. I missed him. I remained with grandmother. We became very poor. Sometime later, I fell sick and lay in bed. I was almost unconscious. In the afternoon, suddenly my body levitated out of bed and went painfully through a narrow channel on the top left corner of my grandmother's bedroom. I reached a place where words escape me to describe. There was a strong light, like if I were bathing in sun rays and a physical well-being. If you pardon my example, like an orgasmic feeling of every cell in my body. But suddenly, I fell back in bed, almost roughly, as I felt rejected. I jumped and jumped up on the mattress, trying to go back where I had just come from. No success. Tired with my efforts, I ran out of bed to the kitchen where my grandmother was surprised to see me up. She was explaining to a neighbor that the doctor said I wouldn't survive the fever. I ate a good meal and ran out to play with my friends. Grandmother couldn't believe I was cured. I never mentioned this experience to anybody until in my 50s I read the same thing happened to others. End quote. That was pretty amazing. I've got some. She was cured. There are some questions. Question. At the time of your experience, was there an associated life-threatening event? An illness, trauma, or other condition? My grandfather had just died. I caught a bat flu. Maybe subconsciously, I wanted to rejoin my grandfather, but I'm not sure. It is my adult interpretation. Question. Did you feel separated from your body? Answer. I was 7 or 8 years old. I do not remember if I heard grandmother say to the neighbor that I was dying when I was, quote unquote, up in heaven, or later when I joined her in the kitchen after coming back. I felt pain going through this narrow bowel. Then my body somehow sensed the experience. I clearly left my body and existed outside of it. Question. Your highest level of consciousness or alertness comparing to normalness? Answer. I've never experienced anything near this feeling again. Question. Did time seem to speed up or slow down? Answer. I cannot say how long it lasted, but long enough to remain in my memory as unforgettable. Question. Comparing your hearing. I cannot remember any noises during the experience except perhaps the one the bed made when I was rejected. But this last detail might be imaginary. Maybe she came back to her body. It was so forceful that it made the bed move. No. Question. Did you pass into or through a tunnel? Answer. Yes, I passed through the tunnel twice, in and out back to bed, each time feeling myself squeezing through it. Question. Did you see an unearthly light? Answer. Yes, it was like I was surrounded by the sun. There was no heat, but it was the brightest light possible. Question. Did you seem to enter some other unearthly world? Answer. Never have I experienced anything close to this in my 85 years. Question. What emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer. I was highly elated. Question. What importance did you place on your religious/spiritual life prior to your experience? Answer. Greatly important to me. Question. What was your religion prior to your experience? Answer. Christian Catholic, brought up by a Protestant grandfather and a Catholic grandmother. Question. Have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer. Uncertain. I was 7 or 8 at the time. Later in my life, I felt somehow fascinated by religious people and a compulsion and necessity to not to elude church frequentation. But it might be superstitious. I don't know. Question. Did your experience include features consistent with your earthly beliefs? Answer. At 8 years old, I had few beliefs. I thought I was in heaven, then back to earth, and very disappointed. Question. Did you have a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Answer. Yes. When I pray, I often mentally refer to that light, asking its protection for my loved ones and myself as if it were God. Maybe it is. Could God be a powerful supernatural light? Question. Have your relationships changed specifically because of your experience? Answer. Sometimes I feel things that my environment doesn't feel. I rather guess some details that often prove right, but not always. Question. How accurately do you remember the experience in comparison with other events that occurred at around the same time? Answer. More accurately, it was unforgettable. The experience was so strange and unexpected that I dared not mention it to anyone until I read that I wasn't the only one. It was unforgettable. So strange and unexpected that I dared not mention it until I read I wasn't the only one. Question. Do you have any psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts after your experience that you did not have before the experience? Answer. Uncertain. I feel like or dislike to certain persons without logical reasons, but maybe everybody is like that. And I also feel protected against evil in some way, but this might be wishful thinking. Question. Are there one or several parts of your experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer. My body felt the physical experience of sensing pain going through this narrow channel. Question. Have you ever shared this experience with others? Answer. Yes. Decades later, when I read in a magazine somewhere disclosed the same story, I then disclosed it to my family. Question. What did you believe about the reality of your experience shortly after it happened? Answer. Experience was definitely real. Immediately after, I tried so hard to jump to the ceiling, levitate, and repeat the experience. Since I was a child, I did not think of the experience for years until I read that I wasn't the only one. I could never forget, all quotes, the light and the feeling of elation that I had felt. Question. What do you believe about the reality of your experience now? Answer. Experience was definitely real. It was so stunning. I can never, all quotes, forget something like that. It is strong and strange and wonderful. Question. Is there anything else you would like to add about your experience? Answer. I sometimes think I bring luck to people that I like and don't dislike me. That was a great story from 1938. Thank you, Ginette, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.